Good morning, thinker. Good morning, my friend. Friday, April 21st. Let's get to it. Okay, this stream we're going to be looking at clothing. Let's see. Drawing. What am I thinking about here? Okay, I'm just going to jump right into it. We're not completely figured out on the hair, honestly. That's one thing. I want to add a lot more to that, more kind of interest to it, just like our reference has. So that's one thing, but I really want to figure out these clothes today. I think that's the next and maybe last most important thing for this drawing. The other thing I want to do is open up our reference for the original drawing. Let me see, what's the size on that? That's pretty big. And I'm going to make it part of our reference on the Krita document. So let's change the size to like, I don't know, 700 on the longest side. There you go. Control all, copy, and then I'm going to make sure that I'm on my reference tool and then paste. And where'd you go? There you are. As I look at the reference, or look at our drawing, I want to figure out the sternocleidomastoideus muscle a little bit better. It's very pronounced with just the lines there. The painting of it's going to have to be much more subtle. Okay, clothing. So the first thing that you want to do, and I talked about this, 2 streams ago. It was basically called, start with a story. Hey, Josh, what's up? Good morning. Thanks for joining. I know you got a busy day. So a couple streams ago, switched up how I was doing things, and I basically said, we need to start with the emotion. We need to start with the idea, the story, the narrative within our paintings, because not only can it take your art to the next level, but it can motivate you to keep going through a very long process. And I'm slow, so I need that motivation. I think a lot of us are, and that's totally fine. So anything that you add to your drawing, to your piece, to your painting, needs to follow that story, that narrative. And the more pieces that you add to it will, let's say, add more interest, more detail to the character that you have. It's kind of like a really good movie, just detailing out a character, right? That's what we're doing here. And the clothes are no different. I could go on ArtStation, which I did, and I look for, women or fashion. And unfortunately, there's too many scantily clad women out there. And, well, maybe fortunately too, because it helped me realize that that's not what I want to do with this drawing, with this painting. It's not going to be... what's the word for it? It's not going to be about the surface as much. It's not going to be sexual in nature. I hope for it to be a bit more thought-provoking in some way. So I envision this person, this Outrage, coming from someone, a woman in the workforce, having trouble in the workforce in some way. One of those things that's, constantly, in the media, things like that. Talking about glass ceilings and all that kind of stuff. I won't get into the political nature of that, but it's, something I would like to address. So I'm thinking businesswoman. And so I did some research on businesswoman clothing. Oh, Josh says, going to be watching and listening while I paint and record myself. The story makes a huge difference. Your suggestion on the see your own future idea made me tackle that piece obsessively. Yeah, yeah, the one that you did was really nice. I really like it. See your own future. Josh is another artist. He's got a YouTube channel, Josh Johnson. Pretty awesome. Subscribe to him because he talks about a lot of the business of art. If you are an artist, which hopefully everybody listening to this is at some point, and you're wondering, how can I make money on this? How can I get paintings sold? He's talking about a lot of that within his channel. And he's a great artist, tattoo artist as well. So check him out. And my best friend. Another brother from Kentucky, basically. Okay. Here's the thing. Businesswoman. I did a search on the Googles, basically, and I found what I liked. Because if you look at the reference that we have here, this person already has kind of a cutoff shirt that kind of cuts here. And I want to keep that because it indicates to me, kind of the roundness of the chest. And also this bit of kind of, what do you call it? Cut off shirt there. So this kind of shirt has like an open front to it here that shows a little bit of the neck and down into the collarbone. So let's look at the images I found. I came up with two. Yeah, right here. So this was the first one that I saw, and what I really liked was this, let me go to orange, this neckline here, this point kind of coming down was really nice. And also, there was this kind of cutoff that we could use from the original image, so it's very similar in a lot of ways. This one as well. I like this one even more because we're looking at, this woman's absolutely beautiful, yes, but we tend to see too many models, right, with all the art that we do. I want to get away from that. I want to get to, people that we see every day. We don't really see models every day, or maybe we do. We see a lot of beautiful people, I'm sure. But, yeah, get a bit closer to what many people can relate to daily, honestly. And not only that, the shirt that this person is wearing has a sharper kind of point to it. And maybe we'll switch to that a bit, because motion and energy is what I'm going for, and straight lines will kill that. So again, I'm always thinking about, what's the story, what's the narrative. A straight line here kind of stops that movement. Hey, Matthew's here. What's up, Matthew? Oh, my volume level's low, huh? Interesting. Thanks for letting me know. I'll get closer to the mic. Hopefully some people don't have to turn their volume down on their computer tremendously. Yeah, I'm not going into the orange. Usually I want to go into the orange when I'm talking. I'll try and stay close to the mic. Well, good thing I have a mute on this mic because I just about choked on my tea. Have to edit my stream and edit that out. Wow. About died. Let's turn this up a little bit too. Let me know if that's gotten any better. And I could speak up too. That's, that's another thing that helps. Whoa. Breathing and drinking tea is hard, obviously. I can't do it. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to use our rectangle tool in Krita. You know, honestly, I don't even need the head of this person. What I need is just the shape of their clothing. And where are we going to put this? I have my hair layer, my arm layer. It needs to go below the arm layer. There's the layer on the head. And that has a lot of the clothing. So let's put it on there. And to help me out, I'm going to go ahead and rotate this. Wait. Boy, the rotation on that is very fiddly. This way I can actually work on that sternocleidomastoideus muscle. You know, I say mastoideus because I learned most of my anatomy from the course by Ray Bustos in Newsmasters Academy, which is honestly my favorite anatomy course after Proco. I haven't really gone through the Proco anatomy course. The Proco anatomy course is comprehensive, but I love the way Ray Bustos was teaching it. It's just really cool. Okay, let's erase some of this. Keep the idea of it there, but we're erasing most of it. I'm going to bring our original reference down here as well. And this should go pretty quickly. Oh, the other reason why I like that image was, and I cut it off. I just remembered. The other reason why I like this image is because it was cut off at her, or their forearms. And it's just, it's not that her cuffs or her, it's not that it's folded up, it just cuts off there. And I'm like, oh, I can do that. Awesome. So that's another thing I need to erase is this line here, which is a really great line giving us the form of the arm, but that is on the arm layer. Just very lightly, let's keep it there. You know, and I have all these lines describing this wrist and everything, and I can lighten them out a whole bunch. Just kind of push them back. Just barely erasing them. Oh, thanks for joining us, Matthew. I appreciate it. I was busy fixing my volume, hopefully, and choking on my tea to welcome you to the stream. All kinds of embarrassing things happen on the stream. Okay. I think I have a lot on layers here where they shouldn't be. Sorry, I'm seeing these extra lines that are here, and I don't want them there, but they're on my background layer, which is really annoying. That's one thing I have a problem with, is continually trying to remember what layer I'm on and what I should be, what exactly I should be adjusting. It's part of the game, I guess. Got to continue making those mistakes and learning. Thanks, Chris. That's a little better. I'm mostly listening along on my way to work, and I have arrived, so it's time for me to go. Oh, great. Have a great day at work. Okay, now we're all good. Okay, so the collar line of the reference jacket it starts right at the neck. So it wraps really closely to the neck. We need to think of the neck as a cylinder, just a basic cylinder. But the one thing about how the neck attaches to the chest of any person is it's not a perfect circle at the top. What am I saying? So for example, if this is the person's shoulders that we're painting right now, I'm going to make it like this very simple box. So that's their shoulders. Kind of going off into space, right? You would put the neck at the very top, and it seems like there's this kind of shelf with a very hard transition, like a 90-degree transition, but that's not the case. In actuality, if we looked at a person's chest from the side, we could look at the rib cage. And the rib cage is shaped like this. Here's the sternum in the front. Here's the spine in the back that kind of goes straight down. Here's the ribs themselves. And there's a slant right here. And then we have the top of the spine area kind of curves in, and the neck slants down, and the neck kind of shoots out in this direction, right? And then we have, the chin and the head. So we get this kind of roll in that way. So we need to be cognizant of that it's not this flat thing, that there's not this very specific shelf. It's an ellipse in a different fashion. So it opens up more from where we're looking at it. But right here, if I were to do a cross contour over this neck and generalize it, not focus on all the different bumps and things like that, like the sternocleidomastoideus muscle or the esophagus or any of that's down there, it would be pretty close to a cylinder. How is that going to affect the clothing? Well, the clothing would be pretty tight to that. I feel like in her outrage, their outrage, in the movement forward, that the jacket would open up a little bit. So maybe open up this way. And that's a good angle, I think. Yeah, that's a really good angle. I mean, it goes along with this kind of movement that we want through the whole piece. Now, what about the other side? What we can do is start a tapering on both sides, and then let the viewer fill in the rest. So these two lines, let's say we continued that arc, right? It's going to make a point right in the center of our interest. Composition. Right? We're always thinking about, this here is a center of interest with a secondary interest of the fist. And we're pointing everything to it. We always want to think about that. Does what we're doing right now, the clothing that we add, the hair that we do, everything that we do, does it benefit the story that we're trying to tell? So now this V-neck shirt is really cool. I'm going to keep this closer to the chest, and I'm also going to bring it up a bit. I don't even want to get down into the cleavage. Not only that, because, well, not only just the cleavage there, I would say that the top of the sternum would probably be about right there, maybe a bit lower. Let's just look at the reference, Chris. Oh, what's wonderful is she's got a necklace here. Oof. Let's use that. Let's bring the reference back in. See if we can see it amongst all of the junk that I have in this grouped layer. I'm just going to remove everything but the reference. Yeah, let's do this. Let's bring the necklace in. Further describe that form, and I'm just tracing the necklace exactly. I'm going to soften up these lines with the sternocleidomastoideus. I'm getting to a point where I really like saying that. I'm actually going to outline this esophagus. I'm kind of all over the place this morning, so sorry about that, guys. Let's do a cross contour here. Here, and then bulges out a bit. Goes in a bit. I forgot to look at where the clavicle and all that would begin or end. It'd be right there at the base of that necklace. Like right here, actually. Actually, it's top of the sternum where the clavicles kind of meet, where these sternocleidomastoideus muscles meet. It's kind of like, it's the heart chakra. I think that's where it's at. I have no idea. I'm just kind of making it up. Right there in the pit of the neck. You can feel it on your own body right now. If you feel the center of your chest and then you move up, all of a sudden you'll get to this little hole. And you press really hard in it, and it's hard to talk, because that's where your esophagus goes down into that center. These sterno muscles connect in there. Your clavicles come over and connect over in there, so everything's pointing to it. It's a really interesting area. And then down from there, I would say, yeah, we wouldn't get into any issues until, you know, as far as the cleavage are concerned, right into there. Okay, so that's good. What I'm worried about on this, and I keep drawing on that layer. What I'm worried about on this is if I do this V-neck, let's say I do it right here. See how it's kind of crossing over the knuckles? I'm worried about a tangent there. Maybe I'm over analyzing this a bit. Let's try it. And what I'll do is I'll erase everything underneath the hand. See if it makes any difference. Yeah, I feel like I need to bring it up or down. It needs to be separated from the hand in some way. I'm going to stay zoomed out here for a moment on this drawing. And if the chest is here, this is the center of the chest. That's where the point... Actually, no, we should do it based on compositionally. I know the center of the chest is there, but we can adjust it a bit. So let's put it here. Yeah, I don't like that either. I'm going to look at that other reference real quick. So she's got like kind of a, it's not a point, it's more of a curve in that undershirt. I like the undershirt, I think it's important. And then their original reference, just, it's a very slight, I mean, it's just right here. It goes under the hand. I like that better, but I don't like the line. I don't like how dead it is there, so I need to make it a bit more interesting. There's lines everywhere in here. It's totally fine though. Yeah, that's much better. Wow, 30 minutes already. Yeah, I'm very slow at this, guys. I am not a fast artist yet. Or am I? You know, I really don't know, honestly, and I don't think all of us really know anymore. There's so many great artists out there that show just time lapses all the time. And you're like, you know, how long did that really take? Okay, that's better. I'm gonna have to remember the coloration of these as well. Actually, I'm gonna keep this reference here, and I'm gonna throw it off to the side. Remember those blue colors. I don't want to put a white shirt down here. Not at all. It's going to pull away from our center of interest completely. Let me erase this line. It's confusing me. Getting rid of that illusion of, or it was getting rid of that illusion of depth. And I think the necklace is just going to be confusing, so I'm going to get rid of it as well. Okay, the last thing I want to do, and this is going to be really easy because we've basically already done this, is put the end of the cuff link, or the cuff, here on the arm. I'm going to hang it down just a little bit, just so it really illustrates that, hey, this is a piece of clothing. Don't have to worry about it too much more than that. If I really wanted to, I could, work with interest in some folds here. Actually, I take that back. There's a couple things that I wanted to add to this that I remember now. To really reinforce these lines here. This jacket has multiple layers to it, which is really nice. So that's where the jacket ends, and then her hair's covering it up, but I could kind of imagine that there's a layer of fabric here that expands out. And then maybe another layer here as well that's not near as thick. Yeah, I'm gonna remove that extra layer. I don't want it to look like a robe, honestly. But right at the shoulders, there's a crease in the fabric, like where the arms were added to the jacket itself. So that really helps to describe things a lot better as well. And add another line of interest, a line of action. Let's do this. Let's sharpen this out. So it would go, the armpit is here, it would go this way. Kind of curve in, and maybe a sharper curve there for this crease here. Very weird angle for my arm. Actually, now that I look at it, there's going to be some bunching of clothing here, kind of like you see on the reference. And so on this side, the lapel, I guess you would call it, that extra fabric on the jacket that our character is wearing is going to be covering up some of this, or a lot of this. Maybe it has a sharp change in direction because the arm itself is preventing it from flowing out too far. Kind of building the story on this as much as I can. See, maybe it conforms. This is the other side of the arm. It conforms to the other side of the arm. Another reason to, you know, work on learning the form. See, I'm thinking about the back side of the arm here where I can't see, but if I have these kind of cross contours in, let me zoom in on this, sorry guys. If I have this cross contour here, right, I can imagine that it's going to be another ellipse on the other side in some way. So the fabric comes here, it goes against the hand or the arm, and then kind of flows in an ellipse, and then out this side like that. If that makes sense. Yeah, let's do the same here as well. There's a little bit more interest in this line, like it doesn't just continue flowing in the same way. I mean, it's fabric, it waves, it has, you know, it's like a flag or something. It's going to be a bit more stiff, I would guess, than a flag or something like that, but because it's, you know, I would guess it's a jacket, maybe it's a thick piece of fabric. I can add, you know, because I'm looking at this difference in fabric here, like the coloration difference, so I'm adding kind of like a point to it there. And then it looks like we have a point that goes straight down. That's kind of nice too. So we can get an idea of a flowing of fabric there as well. Let's look at what we got. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that's really good. I feel like that our character is she's wearing a jacket now, and you can tell because of the corners of the shoulders. That really kind of describes it for me. You know, kind of sharpening that out a bit on each side. We have a businesswoman that's really pissed off. Perfect. That's exactly what I want. All right, the next part, what I want to do is really bring some more interest into this hair. So let's take our AI reference. Use it, don't abuse it. Okay. And you know, let's do this. In the interest of time, I am going to photo bash this hair a little bit. A little bit. Yeah, because I'm only going to do a little bit, right? So there's a portion of this hair that I really like. And I'm going to... yeah, I'm going to copy some of it. Copy. Like literally copy it. Paste. Where is it at? It's really tiny. Very pixelated, which is good because it's going to force me to actually do some things with it. I'm going to drop the opacity way down, and then we're going to have fun transforming this hair. First, we need to get something close to the size that we want. Needs to be a lot bigger. Big hair. All the way out to here. You're like, holy crap, her hair is big now. Yes. And now we're going to have fun squishing, squashing this. I may do this and then, you know, hate it, and then just go back to the harder way, the longer way of just interpreting. We'll see. So I can do that. I'll hit enter, and then what else I'm going to do, I'm going to transform again, which is Control T. And we could do several things. Like our basic transform over here in the tool options is just a free transform. Then we got perspective. I don't want that. Then this is what? Warp? Yeah, let's try warp. Warp is all about these corners. You know, you can really move things around in different ways. You gotta be careful. Really, I mean, there's some interesting curves and things in here, and if you start warping the crap out of them, it's not gonna, doesn't look too good, so stop doing that. Actually, let's just go from there. Is that gonna be interesting? Is it helpful? Is the hair too big in the front? I think the cuff angle should be angled more from upper left to lower right to reflect the notion of the composition more. Oh, that's a good, I'm sorry I wasn't looking at the chat. Really good point you made there. Yeah, let's do that. I can keep the bottom where it's at and then bring the top forward. Let's go too far first. Let's bring it all the way up here. Let's think about that ellipse. This might not be too far forward. I was thinking it would be. Yeah, that definitely helps. I don't like the tapering though. Up there. I'm gonna bring it closer to the body and flare it out just a little bit at the end. Kind of like the wind is building up. It's flaring out the clothes just a little bit. Yeah, that's much better. Those little things are so important. Gonna have to leave in about 5 minutes. I'll catch up later. Okay, thanks, Tinker. Sorry, I probably already missed you, but thanks for the comment. That's really helpful. I have 15 minutes to work on this hair a bit more. It's another reason why I really like these streams is because it's just really helpful getting other people's opinion kind of right away. And yeah, I don't like doing the hair this way. I like that it's a bit... Oops. I like that it's kind of stretched out a bit, but I'm not going to go off the hair itself. I'm not going to copy from it. Actually, what I need to do is drop the opacity of what I have already, create a new layer, and then work on this. That way I stay with the overall form and shape of the hair, because that's really the most important, keeping that overall form and shape. Now I can focus on a little bit more details. But even now, I'm still thinking about the overall form and shape of each detail. I'll repeat what Craig Mullins has said, detail is a rigorous application of the fundamentals. Like, everything is the same, it just gets smaller. I'm still thinking about the light on the form, where the light's coming from, how it turns in some way. Yeah, I want to keep this fluid as well. Flowing, not rigid. Always think about, or at least try and think about, remember sometimes, the texture of the object you're painting or drawing. The narrative for the hair for me here is wind. Wind is blowing it. It's a bit more of an extreme angle than our original reference, which makes sense. If there's higher wind, you're going to get, the strands are going to be elongated much more. They're not going to be in these perfect curls and swirls. So I need these kind of flowing gestural lines. It's almost a thing where, I'm going to be doing some of these interesting lines in here, and later on picking out what I want and figuring out the light and shadow on each major shape. And having fun. I'm going to break the picture plane on one of these as well. This is the kind of thing where you draw through. You don't stop at the edge of the paper and then continue on. Draw through the edge of the paper, the edge of your canvas. If you're painting or whatever, go off the edge of the canvas. Digitally, go off the edge of the canvas with those gestural lines. If you truncate your lines right before, like you slow down your arm, stop the gesture right away, it will look a little bit truncated. It's interesting how it kind of stops the idea that line would actually continue on. So always draw through, or at least try and draw through as much as you can. I really like that flow of line. I'm just really taking some of the language here that this AI has built by referencing a lot of human work. And I'm putting myself into it, kind of like a conversation. An interpretation, which I've said a lot. I'm never drawing just one strand of hair here. This is, although it looks like, well, I am making a bunch of lines. These are groupings of strands. I'm just finding the end of each group, the edge of each group. I'm not worried about erasing anything. And this will be better worked up when I get into kind of a big blocky shapes as well. That will bring in a lot of the light and shadow, which is, kind of the heart of this hair, really. Drawing from this, because it's just a mess of stuff. It looks beautiful when you pull out, when you're far away from it. But as an artist, it's kind of like looking at a tree or something. You look at a tree and you're like, wow, that's a really beautiful tree. But then as an artist, when you start analyzing it, like let's say that you want to draw that tree, you want to reproduce the beauty, right away you start understanding how complex everything is and the massive amount of information that's held within it. Like, there's so much information in this hair, it's ridiculous. There's no way you'll be able to get all of it out. So don't worry about that. What you do is pick a big shape that you think is interesting, and then focus on that first. Just get that big idea down, that big shape down. Always try to think about the large shapes as well, as much as you can. The bigger forms. I'm saying this to you as much as to me as well. It's another reason why I like doing these live streams. I talk things through, and it helps me remember, understand. If you want to learn something really well, you try and teach it. If you want to know it the best, teach it to a very young person. 10-year-old, 5-year-old. If you can get them to understand a complex concept, then you know it so well. It's a definite indication. I was watching a video by Mark Bernay. He was using that Feynman technique, they call it, where a teaching technique, learning technique, I'm sorry, where if you really want to know something, you teach it. That's part of it. I really want to know all this stuff, so I'm here on this live stream. Hopefully, teaching it well. All right, let's move our reference down a bit. No, it should be it should be on the reference layer. I'm just going to delete that. Actually, no, let me bring it back. Let's make it smaller. I want to keep that ratio though, so I'm going to hold shift. Let's back up. Get away from it. Get away. If you're zoomed in for way too long, take a moment to back way out. Okay. You'll start seeing things that you didn't see before. Things you don't like. Things that you're like, oh, wow, did I really do that? Don't really like that. So this shape here, I don't like this shape. It's not dynamic enough. I'm gonna get rid of that. I like how the hair kind of swirls back on itself here. You still get that feeling, but there's something about these extra swirls that kind of face the other way that make it really interesting. Yeah, flip the image a lot. You know, that's something I have not done, I think, this whole time. It's one of those things I'm afraid to do. Thanks, Josh. Thanks for the reminder. Let me do this little bit here, and then I'm gonna flip it. Why am I afraid to flip it? Because that's when you really see all your mistakes. I'm thinking, please don't be terrible. Please don't be terrible. Please don't make me want to start over. Scrap the whole idea, because I'm really enjoying this. But I tell you what, the last painting I did on the live stream, which was our tiger, I didn't flip that as much as I should have. I could have, not should. And I think the piece suffered from it, honestly. So if we really want to make this a better work of art, I need to flip it. Flip it good. I couldn't resist. It was really awful. Okay. M. It's very easy to do. Just hit M. M as in mirror. Let's see what we got. Okay, still happy. I'm still happy. The hair's a couple places, need some work. But the major structure of the head, the arm, the shoulders. Yeah, happy with that. I'm gonna back it up. Zoom out. I'm gonna zoom out. Yeah, the one thing that's annoying me is on the head layer, I was doing some, I guess, teaching or whatever, and I put these really dark lines in here, and it's really distracting. I mean, this is like the light and shadow terminator between the light and shadow. So what I'm going to do is erase those down into a gray that's closer to most of the drawing. It's making it difficult for me to see what that actually looks like. And I don't like this part of the hair here. I don't know what's going on there. I'm just going to simplify that a bit. I like the idea that the hair is kind of alive, right? It's got its own life to it in some way. Yeah, that's good. I'm enjoying that a lot. I'm going to work a little bit longer on this. Why? Because I don't want to continue I don't want to have to continue with the hair on the next stream, and only have just a few things left to do. Actually, I can get rid of this later, and we're going to go off of our just Midjourney reference there as it is. You know, I would argue, or I can argue, and I will argue with people about AI art. And I hope that I get someone on the stream that's like, oh, you're cheating so horribly with the AI art. Drawing from an image is cheating. You know, wherever it came from, whatever. I mean, you might as well say that you can't draw from photographs. You know, that kind of thing. What's the difference? There's a point where you can use AI art negatively. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of that. And I've talked about this already, but if I was creating this piece and it looked, well, I just took the AI generated art and I said, oh, this is mine. I painted this from scratch. You know, completely lied about it. Then I'm really hurting myself on that. A person that does that is kind of like, I really wish that I could do a painting that looks as good as that. And it's kind of galling in some way. It's like, oh, there's this technology. Norman Rockwell, the most known Golden Age illustrator, would have loved AI images. He traced his own photographs for production works. Everything he did was traced. Yeah. I think the idea of using this images is, photographs, like, was kind of like this old idea now where, oh, you can't use photographs. Heck yeah, I'll use photographs. Use AI as a tool to help you improve in some way. I mean, there's so many artists on ArtStation that are like, you know, they don't like that AI art is out there. It's probably going to take some revenue away from them. Maybe way too much, right? At some point. So they don't like that it's there, but there's so many really great artists that have gone beyond what AI art can do. And I think, you know, keep that in mind. You know, it's the humanity that we need here most. My argument was, when I did my AI art video, it was kind of like an argument for and against AI. So when the photograph came in, you know, when photography came in, a lot of portrait artists were, you know, put out of a job. You didn't, reproduction, there was, I mean, that's where Van Gogh worked, and his brother, Theo, worked in a production facility that reproductions were like a huge commodity before the photograph. And those all went away. Because now you could just take a photo of the art without, you know, getting any other artists involved. You get a perfect reproduction of the art. You could sell that. I could sell, you know, thousands of them for, you know, 1/100th of the price of what they were selling those other productions before. So it changed up how things went for a lot of industries. But what it did for the artistic industry is people were like, well, you know, before this moment, our biggest challenge was trying to reproduce exactly what we saw. Now, we don't have to worry about that anymore. Now it's all about what do we feel? Maybe the AI art will progress at some point to be able to illustrate our feelings and our emotions and our current time frame, what's in the news or what's going on politically or socially, worldwide. But the humanity part of it, I think, is what's important for us right now. Where's our humanity? But practically, okay, for you as an artist that's maybe listening to this in the future, look at AI art generated images as you would paintings from your favorite artist. From the past or from, well, yeah, from the present, you know, wherever. Or images of a beautiful landscape, you know, photograph. Now, you wouldn't copy directly from those artists, right? You wouldn't say, hey, Bierstadt, you know, I'm just going to copy this beautiful landscape and just call it my own. No, I mean, AI art cannot be copyrighted right now, at least in this in United States, but use it as a tool. Figure it out, learn from it. Improve your own art with it. That's how you do it. Because if you just copy directly from it, you're really hurting yourself. Just like if you were copying directly from, unless you're doing a master copy to see how this artist has created this work, right? That's fine. Because then you're kind of researching things. You're learning from it in some way. You're increasing your intelligence or your understanding more. And that's the way to do it. So I'll give you another example. Well, this example here is I saw this piece on Midjourney and I was like, oh, I love this. What do I love about it? I love the color. I love the flow of the hair. I love the orange and the teal. And then I said, but I'm not going to reproduce this. What story or narrative could I bring into this? Because this story and narrative is pretty bland. I mean, yeah, it's pretty, but it's not saying anything to me. It's like, oh yeah, I could put this on my wall. It's a beautiful piece. It's got orange and it's got an interesting composition, a nice kind of flow to it, blah, blah, blah. But it's not saying anything. How can I bring more into it? So I was thinking, okay, well, we have a million different reference images of figures. How can I take what I love from this, the colors, the shapes of the hair, the lighting concept, and change it and apply that to another figure? And then, inevitably I picked up this image, which I could make larger so you could see. And that's where we're working from. So kind of combining the two together. And then learning how the hair was generated in some way. And then adding my own flair and interest to it. Here, I'll show you another one that I got coming up in the future, because I didn't just go out and do one of these. I've done 3 so far, where I found some AI art and I was like, wow, this is beautiful. I love the coloration here. Let's look at this one. So this one, this is kind of the hallmark of AI art. You look at the hands and they're just kind of broken. Just look like mush, and then the nose is kind of looks like mush as well. And then just the tremendous amount of detail everywhere is kind of ridiculous. That's another hallmark of AI art. But what did I love about this piece? I love the kind of crown of these yellow and then a blue out there, the purple. I love the colors. I love how it's composed, this kind of center of interest, this kind of A-frame. If you draw a triangle from the top of her head down to the bottom left and bottom right, you get this nice kind of triangle composition. Center of interest at the top. The rest of it is there, but it just supports the grandiose idea at the top of the painting. So basically composition and color. And then I found this reference. I've always loved this reference. This is from one of the ArtStation packs that I grabbed. And I've always wanted to do something with it. And I'm thinking, here's a perfect combination. This reference of kind of a superhero pose. This person is levitating. It's really great how they do that. She's just on one foot. And then I think they have, something blowing her hair. So taking this drawing and adding this color and interest to it and making it my own. This one's going to be about power. What does that mean? Powerful person, woman. Okay, I've rambled enough. 15 minutes past the time that I want to actually work, because I just love doing this. It's so much fun. We got the hair in, we got the clothes in, we got that arm figured out. We have a wonderful composition. I like it both mirrored and not, except for that little piece of hair I just did. Yeah, it's really kind of messing with things. I'm glad I did that. Here I was going to end the stream, and then I'm back to it. Josh knows what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, I'm done with that. And then you see something and you pick it back up again. Maybe I'll improve that a little bit. Pick it back up again. Yeah, this looks really good. I probably will change up how I'm doing the hair that's coming in front there. Maybe shorten it up a bit. We'll see. The next part of this is going to be the painting process. I think I have, this drawing is good enough. I don't need to go any further. The next part of it is going to be all about painting. Let's see, painting. And that's the reason why I have all these images up top. So these are 3 images from Craig Mullins. Mullins, Craig, Craig. I have no idea what you're talking about. Yes, you do. So Craig Mullins, and this is what I want to try and embody, is this very loose technique of painting. I love the textural quality in here. So here you go. This is another kind of step. Look at all the glazing that's happened in here. It's beautiful. You know, maybe I'll keep a lot of the drawing as well, just like this piece. I mean, we know that that's a head. Look, we come way back out. Like we're 33 feet away. It works. We go straight all the way to 3 feet away, and it works. And then we get all this texture, and we're like, wow, that is so interesting. That's my inspiration, what I want to go for. Another step further away from the AI art. Beginning influence. You know, I'm not gonna copy Clint Eastwood or Delacroix or this figure here that Craig Mullins did and just repeat it. I'm going to step away from it and use it as influence. I can't wait to start painting on this, because what I'm going to be doing is trying to stick with a really large brush through the whole thing. Like just... not that bad. Just have a very large brush, and we'll see how it goes. I'll probably be using the David Vervoy brushes through this. Anyway, now I'm truly rambling. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone, for showing up to my stream to listen to me ramble. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow.